And you can see on your screen a pretty incredible view. This is Dragon looking at the International Space Station, which is where it will be docked for about the next 6 months. So very exciting. You can tell that we're getting closer and closer as the view there is very visible from the Dragon spacecraft.
That's right, and the International Space Station is currently flying 268 statute miles over the South Pacific Ocean. But yeah, we'll continue to see the International Space Station come into better and better view. You can see some of the solar arrays and some of the modules, but again, I'm looking forward to seeing it come into more detail and us sharing a bit more about what you're seeing on your screen. And you can see if you squint between the clouds there, that little white dot, that is Dragon with Crew-8 on board. We'll, again, continue to see this grow larger, but great to see those very first views of Crew-8 and Endeavour. Oh, and there's an even better view. You can see the nose cone is open there. That nose cone did open shortly after launch, and it stays open all the way through docking. It exposes that guidance, navigation, and control systems. And that's actually where the crew will enter into the International Space Station once we get docked and have the vestibule repressurized and all those checkouts go smoothly.
And it looks like we got both of those views now looking side by side next to each other. Again, on your left-hand screen, a view from the International Space Station looking at Dragon Endeavour, while the right-hand view is a view from Dragon Endeavour looking at the International Space Station. And this is actually a very great view to kind of describe where Dragon is relative to the International Space Station. You can see Earth in the background, so you can see that Dragon is below the space station. Once it reaches waypoint 0, it will be 400 meters below the space station, but moving into waypoint 1, it will actually be swinging up and in front of the space station. So you won't be able to see Earth behind it anymore because it'll be in front of the space station.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. Approach 0 is in progress and trajectory has converged on waypoint 0. Arrival at waypoint 0 at approximately 1711. And with that, you are good to proceed into 4.011 for leak checks.
Dragon copies, stepping into 4.011, see leak check.
And good calls there. They have confirmed that we have made it to waypoint 0 and that the crew is good to perform their suit leak checks inside of the cabin there.
So as we begin to move closer to waypoint 1, which is our next milestone, a couple of things are going to happen. The sensors on Dragon are going to work to basically get a lock on the docking port that it's targeting. And once they do eventually dock, that soft capture ring will automatically capture the docking port. And then we will work to close those latches.
Dragon on the big group, ready to pressurize.
Dragon SpaceX, you are go to initiate suit leak checks.
Copy to go.
And there you heard some comms that they are beginning their suit leak checks. Again, they do put their suits on during the dynamic events of docking, so they are doing some suit leak checks to make sure everything is working properly with their suits before they dock to the International Space Station.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. Approach 1 and soft capture ring extension will begin shortly. Dragon will continue approach to waypoint 2.
Dragon copies on the big loop.
And as we continue to make our approach from waypoint 1 to waypoint 2 and make our final approach, a couple of things will happen that you might hear over. Oh, and here we are getting our very first views inside of the Dragon Endeavour. The crew there is suited up, as you can see. They're just continuing to monitor the screens on board Dragon. This is an automated process, but the crew can take over if needed up to a point right before docking called CHOP. You'll hear that called out, and that's the crew hands-off period. And from that point on, it is a fully automated docking.
And it may be hard to tell what's on your screen, but right now this is a view from Dragon looking at the space station as it is making its way to waypoint 2. Again, that will align Dragon with the docking adapter on the space station. And
it looks like we are getting a space selfie. You got to capture the moment.
That is excellent.
How special.
Houston and Hawthorne have pulled go for docking. Confirm you are ready for approach 2. We are sending the approach allowed flag now.
We see the approach allowed flag to true, and we're closing visors.
Copy, visors closed, and one additional reminder, once Dragon is inside the crew hands-off points, retreat and breakout are not permitted.
And copy, 4 visors closed.
And we just heard confirmation that both the NASA and SpaceX teams have pulled go for docking, and the crew aboard
Station
the
Houston on the
Dragon
big
Endeavour
loop.
spacecraft.
Dragon is on final approach and is go for docking. Monitor per steps 5 and 6 in 1.102. Dragon approach and retreat monitoring.
Station copies monitoring per steps 5 and 6 of Dragon approach and retreat monitoring.
Meters.
Copy, 15 meters.
So you did hear that call out that Dragon is now less than 15 meters away from the International Space Station, continuing to close in slowly. We'll hear that call out for chop, crew hands off point 2 meters before contact. Now approaching 10 meters away from the International Space Station.
Meters.
Copy, 5 meters.
Should hear the call out for chop shortly.
Meters.
Copy, 2 meters and hands off.
And there was that call. Standing by for contact and capture.
1 meter.
Copy, 1 meter. Soft capture confirmed.
And contact confirm. Dragon made contact with the International Space Station at 11:28 p.m. Pacific while flying central over the North Atlantic Ocean just east of Newfoundland.
And there are still a few steps to complete before Dragon is securely attached to the station. Again, we do have soft capture, but then we will retract that soft capture ring. Then we can start driving in the hard capture hooks. Again, there will be 2 sets of 6 hooks each. Once those hooks...
Ring retraction in progress.
There's that call out that the soft capture ring is now being retracted. And then shortly we should hear that the first 6 hooks will begin to drive in for that hard capture.
Crew-8.